Monday, October 9th, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So this is an early market update, and I want to read a passage from the law by Frederick Bastiat. And the law is considered the classic blueprint for a just society. You decide, though, if you agree with me. I'm not saying you should, but just what I think. But anyway, it's 8:40 a.m. London time. Gold has done well overnight. We made a high of 1285.75, and if you remember, gold traded down to around 1260 after non-farm payroll on Friday and closed around 1276. So it looks like we've made a good bottom from post non-farm payroll. That number, of course, was quite mixed. I personally think it's all, it doesn't really matter, the government statistics in the long run. Silver traded above 17 overnight. We got up to 1701 and a half. Right now it's down to 1690. And the other thing I like to say, you know, overnight usually, I know gold and silver are stronger than when the US comes in, but also when Europe comes in or London comes in, a lot of times you will find that gold is knocked down as well during London hours. And I think that just goes to show, you know, that the LBMA and also the, you know, the US, big US banks, big UK banks in London, they're involved in this control, you know, or manipulation of the gold price. I worked in the city of London for 20 years. And yeah, we're trading COMEX gold in the morning here in London, even before COMEX opens. It's all done on the screen, and there's the LBMA over the counter. London is the biggest foreign exchange market in the world. So gold is traded as, you know, a currency, and so is silver. I remember when I started out in Switzerland in the late 80s, we used to have the Reuters screens, you know, before Bloomberg became, you know, ubiquitous. It was the Reuters screen, and there was a page, you know, one of the guys where I worked in Switzerland, a small bank, he used to keep the FX page on because we did a lot of foreign exchange. And you had the main, you know, foreign exchange quotes like Canadian dollar, dollar mark, dollar yen, British pound, Deutschmark, Australian dollar, and then below you had AXU, AXG. And when I started out, I didn't know. I said, well, what is that? And he said, well, that's gold and silver. So that was on the FX screen. I'm sure it's still there, the Reuters FX screen. But anyway, the Dow up 2 points, 22,767. So it's been fairly quiet overnight. S&P up 1 point, 25.50. Crude oil back below 50 at 49.73, but it's up 21 cents. The pound is recovering a little bit this morning. It had a rough week last week. Dropped quite a few big figures. Right now it's at 131.12 from a low of 130.60. So it's up like a third of a percent overnight, the British pound. Euro is a little weaker, only 6 pips, and the dollar is unchanged against the yen. So gold has done well in spite of the dollar remaining quite steady against the yen. As we know, usually when gold goes up like this, it means that the dollar has gone down against the yen, but in this case it hasn't. Economic data this morning, there's been very few. The only one I've seen here that you know, the markets would look at was German industrial production, and that was quite strong, 2.6% on the month for August. It was expected 0.7, but that's about it. Politically, I think this Catalonia story is very important. It looks like they want to declare independence tomorrow. I saw over the weekend pro-Spain marches were quite big. I think in Barcelona, which is the capital of Catalonia. But I see here, for example, a headline from an economist in the telegraph.co.uk, Roger Bootle. I think he works for Capital Economics. He's written a book before saying that inflation was dead. Yeah, he's a mainstream Keynesian economist, so to speak. But the article he's written is interesting. I haven't read the article, I just see the headline. And he says, if Catalonia left Spain, it would be like London leaving the UK. Yeah, Catalonia is the richest region in Spain. And to be honest, I don't know in detail the ins and outs of why Catalonia wants independence and the political situation, a landscape in Catalonia, if they're more small government or if they're socialist. I don't know. But one thing I know is that during the Franco regime, Franco was the guy, the fascist leader of Spain, the dictator from, I think, 1939 after the end of the Spanish Civil War until 1975 when he died. So Spain was under Franco all those years. And in Catalonia, it was illegal to speak their own language and they couldn't write in Catalan. So maybe that's one of the reasons as well. The other reason might be that with the economic crisis since 07 and 08, Catalonia probably feels they've had to, carry the burden of bailing out the rest of Spain. That could be it. And that's why I've come to this book. And am I saying that if Catalonia becomes independent, they're going to be a small government and they're going to respect the individual? I don't know. I don't think so. There's, that philosophy is kind of dead, but maybe they want to be freed from central government in Madrid. But it doesn't mean to say that individual Catalans will not be exploited by the new possible Catalan government. But anyway, here on page 7, Frederick Bastiat talks about victims of lawful plunder. And I quote, of course, "Men naturally rebel against the injustice of what they are victims. Thus, when plunder is organized by law for the profit of those who make the law," well, read Madrid and the Kingdom of Spain, "all the plundered classes try somehow to enter by peaceful or revolutionary means into the making of laws." So there you have it. They tried by peaceful, they tried a referendum, but it was called illegal. Will there be, physical force, revolution, civil war between Catalonia and Spain? There could be. So this just goes to show. And it also works, within domestic politics. But I continue here, and it goes, according to their degree of enlightenment, these plundered classes may propose one of two entirely different purposes when they attempt to attain political power. Either they may wish to stop lawful plunder, or they may wish to share it. And he goes on to say, woe to the nation when this latter purpose prevails among the mass victims of lawful plunder, when they, in turn, seize the power to make laws. Same thing I feel is happening here in the UK. We've had the last 10 years the lawful plunder of the middle classes, the general public, to bail out a few thousand, or about 30, 40, 50,000 people who depend on the financial banking industry in London, in the city of London. So we've had that lawful plunder, which was actually started by the Labour government, who, under the premiership of Gordon Brown and finance minister or chancellor of the exchequer, Alistair Darling. They legally plundered, lawfully plundered the public to bail out a few banks in the city of London. But now you've got someone, and the Conservatives, they've been in power since 2010. I know the first part of, until 2015, they were in a coalition with the Liberal Democrats. Now they're in a smaller coalition. But anyway, the Conservatives, they haven't rocked the boat, even though people say that they're cutting and there's austerity. The banks are still being bailed out. The national debt is still growing massively. It's more than doubled since they've been in power. And all that is lawful plunder to keep the city of London going. So it hasn't really changed, if left or right. But now we're getting someone from the left, from Labour, Jeremy Corbyn, who wants to change. He wants to take the power of lawful plunder and give it to the general public, the people who feel cheated now by, what we've had actually since 2007, 2008. In my opinion, any kind of lawful plunder is wrong, and that's why nothing gets better. We keep going from, lawful plunder of a certain class to lawful plunder of another class. I think Jeremy Corbyn looks like he wants to take us back to 1960s, 1970s, but it was misery for everyone. But a lot of the upper class or the wealthier, they left the country because they were being taxed by even 90% tax rates in the UK. Am I saying what we've got now is right? No, I don't think either is right. All you need to do, though, as an individual is to be aware of this so you can try to protect yourself as much as possible. And am I a specialist in this? No, I'm not. But you need to use your common sense and, be protective of your family assets, financial assets. I guess in the 60s and 70s, you could own gold in the UK, but you could only buy a certain amount of gold sovereigns. I think you'd only buy 6 sovereigns, which is equal to, about 1.5 ounces of gold a year. So beware, that could come back. He could have, Jeremy Corbyn, if he does become Prime Minister, he could have exchange controls, capital controls. So that means, you couldn't invest abroad and things like that. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, lawful plunder. This book was written in 1850 and it still applies today. So will Catalonia, if they become independent, are they just trying to stop the lawful, they're going to try to stop lawful plunder altogether by getting out of Madrid or the Kingdom of Spain? Are they going to let their citizens be free, independent, and are they going to have small government? I doubt it. I'm not too sure. Probably not. So maybe if you are from Catalonia and you're watching this video, or if you know about it, make a comment below in the description. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter as well. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, there's links below in the description. I'll talk to you later. Bye.